Paris, 1715. A professional gambler walks into the palace of the most powerful man in France. He's got no money, no credentials, and no formal education. But he's got a pitch. Within a year, this man will control France's entire economy. He'll create the world's first central bank and invent modern paper money. He'll convince thousands of people that a mosquito-infested swamp in Louisiana is filled with gold. His scheme will make fortunes overnight, before it's destroyed just as fast. The French economy will collapse so completely that the country won't try paper money again for another 80 years. But the scheme almost worked. Let's take a look at how John Law convinced an entire nation to trade real gold for paper fantasies. John Law wasn't born a con man. He was born in Edinburgh in Scotland in 1671, son of a goldsmith and banker. He was somewhat of a genius. He understood mathematics, probability, and economics. But he had a problem. He loved gambling. Not just cards and dice. He loved risk, the psychology of betting, the thrill of convincing someone to put their money on the table. By his 20s, he's living in London. He's gambling professionally and winning consistently. Then in 1694, he kills a man in a duel over a woman. He's convicted of murder and sentenced to death. But Law escapes from prison. He flees to Amsterdam, then to France, and ends up in Venice. For the next 20 years, he's moving across Europe, gambling in every major city, winning fortunes, losing fortunes, learning how money really works. And that's where he develops his theory. In that time, people thought money had to be gold or silver, something with intrinsic value. But Law sees it differently. Money's just a tool, he thinks, a way to facilitate trade. It doesn't matter if it's gold or paper. What matters is that the people believe in it. You can control the money supply, you can control the economy, you can make it grow, prosper. He writes an essay about this. He proposes it to Scotland. They reject it. Then he proposes it to other countries. They all reject it. Then in 1715, King Louis XIV of France dies, and suddenly John Law has an opportunity. France is broke. Decades of war left a massive debt. The treasury is empty. Louis XV is the new king, but he's only 5 years old. So the Duke of Orleans became the regent. He's running the country, and he's desperate. The traditional solution would be to raise taxes or debase the currency. But both of those options are political suicide. Then John Law shows up. Law has been in Paris for years, gambling, networking, just waiting for this moment. He gets an audience with the regent and he makes his pitch. You don't have a money problem, Law says. You have a circulation problem. France is rich. You've got land, resources, trade. The problem is all the gold is sitting in vaults or under mattresses. It's not moving, it's not working. Give me permission to start a bank that issues paper notes backed by the government. People can deposit their gold and silver and get paper notes. Those notes are easier to carry and easier to trade. Then money starts circulating. The economy will grow. The regent is skeptical. Paper money in France. But he's also desperate. And Law is persuasive. 1716, the regent gives Law permission to open the Banque Générale, Frank's first bank that issues paper money. And at first, it works. People deposit their gold, they get paper notes. They can use those notes to buy things, pay debts, invest. The notes are backed by real deposits, and they can always be exchanged for gold. Merchants love it. It's safer than carrying gold coins, more convenient. The economy actually starts to improve. Law becomes famous overnight. The regent is thrilled, but Law isn't satisfied. He's got a bigger idea. In 1717, John Law comes back to the regent with a new proposal. The bank is working, he says, but we can do more. France owns Louisiana, massive territory in North America, thousands of miles of land. And it's filled with resources, gold, silver, furs, timber. The problem is, no one's developing it. You need investment. You need people to go there, build settlements, extract the wealth. Let me start a company, the Mississippi Company. Give me exclusive trading rights to Louisiana. I'll sell shares to the public. We'll use that money to develop the territory and everybody profits. Regions love this. It solves multiple problems. France gets Louisiana developed without using government money. The public gets investment opportunities and Law gets to prove his economic theories on a massive scale. In August, the Mississippi Company is born. Law starts selling shares. And this is where his gambling skills come in handy. He doesn't just sell shares, he sells a story. Louisiana, he tells investors, is a paradise. Rivers filled with gold, mountains of silver, fertile land as far as the eye can see. The natives are friendly and the climate is perfect. He commissions maps, prints promotional materials, shows images of abundant resources, thriving settlements, and unimaginable wealth. But none of it's real. Law has never been to Louisiana, neither has anybody he's talking to. But it doesn't matter because people want to believe. The shares start selling, slowly at first, but then faster. Law keeps adding to the story. We've discovered new gold mines. The fur trade is exceeding projections. Settlers are flooding in. The share price climbs and more people buy in. The price climbs higher. And then Law does something brilliant. He connects the bank to the company. Remember, Law's bank is issuing paper money backed by gold deposits. Now Law says you can also use Mississippi Company shares as collateral. So people borrow paper money from the bank, use that money to buy Mississippi Company shares, then use those shares as collateral to borrow more money to buy more shares. It's a feedback loop. As long as the share price keeps rising, everyone wins. The bank makes money on loans, the company raises capital, and investors get rich. In the process, Law takes over more and more of France's economy. By 1719, the Mississippi Company has merged with the French East India Company. It now controls all of France's trade with North America, India, China, and the East Indies. Law's bank becomes the Banque Royale, France's official central bank. John Law, the Scottish gambler who killed a man in a duel, is now effectively running France's economy. And everyone is getting rich. Paris, 1719. It's a narrow street in the financial district. Normally it's quiet, but not anymore. Thousands of people are crammed on the street, pushing, shoving, screaming, all trying to buy Mississippi Company shares. The share price has gone from 500 livres to 10,000 livres, a 20x increase in just a few months. People are mortgaging their homes to buy shares, selling family heirlooms, borrowing from anybody who will lend. Servants are becoming millionaires overnight. Aristocrats who bought early are now incredibly wealthy. They call them millionaires. The word is literally invented during the Mississippi bubble to describe these new rich people. John Law is the most famous man in France. The regent makes him Controller General of Finances. He converts to Catholicism and is made a French citizen. Law moves into the palace. His personal fortune would be worth billions today. He really believes he solved the economic puzzle. That paper money and financial innovation can create unlimited prosperity. But there's a pickle. Shares are worth 10,000 livres each. It's based on the premise that Louisiana is generating massive wealth. Except Louisiana isn't generating massive wealth. It's a swamp. The few settlers who actually went there found mosquitoes, disease, and nothing resembling the paradise they were promised. The gold mines don't exist, the silver mountains don't exist, the thriving trade doesn't exist. The Mississippi Company is generating almost no real revenue. But the shares keep climbing because no one's looking at the revenue, they're looking at the share price. As long as the price keeps going up, they're all making money. Law knows this. He's not stupid, so he tries to create real value. He sends more settlers to Louisiana, offers incentives, even forces prisoners and poor people to go there. But most of them die from disease or give up and come back. The numbers don't improve. So Law does what any gambler does when his cards are cold. He bluffs. He prints more money and uses it to prop up the share price. He announces fake discoveries and fake profits. The share price keeps going up because Law is the one setting it. He's the bank, he's the company, and he controls the money supply. As long as people keep believing, he can keep the game going. But belief is fragile. In early 1720, a few smart investors start to notice something. The Mississippi Company's revenue doesn't match his valuation. Not even close. They start selling. Quietly at first, they take their paper money and they go to the Bank Royale. We want our gold back, they say. Law honors it. He has to. That's the whole premise. Paper money is as good as gold because you can always exchange it. But then more people start doing it. And Law realizes he's got a problem. The bank has issued far more paper money than it has gold to back it. And he's been printing paper money to buy Mississippi Company shares, to prop up the price, to keep the bubble inflated. If everyone tries to convert their paper money to gold at once, the bank will run out of gold. And once people realize the paper money can't be exchanged for gold, they'll realize it's worthless. So Law makes a desperate move. In February, he makes it illegal to own more than 500 livres worth of gold or silver. Everyone has to turn in their gold to the bank in exchange for paper money. People are furious, but Law is the general of finances. He has the authority. For a few weeks, it works. Gold flows back into the bank. The paper money supply is validated. But then someone asks the obvious question. If paper money is as good as gold, why do you need to make gold illegal? That's when the panic starts. May 1720, the street where the Mississippi Company is housed is packed again. But this time, people aren't trying to buy shares, they're trying to sell, all at once. The share price collapses, 10,000 livres to 5,000 to 2,000 to 500. People who were millionaires last month are now broke. They rush to the Banque Royale. Give us our gold back, they demand. But there is no gold. Law printed too much paper money and backed it with Mississippi Company shares that were now worthless. The bank can't honor the withdrawals. Riots break out. People storm Law's palace. The regent has to send soldiers to protect him. Law tries everything. He devalues the paper money, hoping to reduce the liability. But that makes people more angry because now the savings are worth even less. He prints more money, hoping to create liquidity. But that just causes inflation. Prices skyrocket. Bread now costs 10 times more than what it did a year ago. In December 1720, the regent fires Law and strips him of all his titles. The Banque Royale is dissolved. The Mississippi Company is dissolved. France abandons paper money entirely. John Law disguises himself as a woman and sneaks out of Paris in a carriage. He flees to Brussels and then back to Venice. He spends the rest of his life gambling in Italian casinos, trying to win back what he lost. He dies in Venice in 1729. Broke. So what actually happened here? John Law wasn't an entire fraud. His economic theories were actually ahead of his time. Paper money does work. Central banks do work. Every modern economy uses both. Law's mistake wasn't the concept. It was the execution. He created paper money, but he didn't create real value to back it. He sold shares in a company that had no revenue. Then he used those worthless shares as collateral to print more money, buy more shares. It was a circular system, and those systems collapsed the moment anybody asked for something real. But here's what the Mississippi scheme actually taught us. People will believe anything if everyone else believes it. The shares weren't worth 10,000 livres because Louisiana was valuable. They were worth 10,000 livres because that's what the market said. And that market said it because Law controlled the market. He was the bank lending the money. He was the company selling the shares. He was the government official certifying it all. Nobody had an incentive to question it. The regent needed France's economy fixed. Investors wanted to get rich and law wanted power. So everybody believed until they couldn't anymore. After the Mississippi Scheme, France didn't try paper money again until the French Revolution 80 years later. But the lesson didn't stick. 1720, South Sea Bubble in England, exact same scheme. 1840s, railway mania in Britain, same pattern. 1920s, stock market bubble before the Great Depression. 2000s, dot-com bubble. Different assets, different technologies, same fundamental structure. Something gets valued based on future potential, not current reality. The price goes up, more people buy in. The price goes up more, until someone asks, what are the real assets? And then the whole thing collapses. Thanks for watching. I'm Henry, and this was What Now?